I am super excited about this one because I have been waiting for Aqara to make a retrofit door lock since the beginning of time.
It's been 84 years.
But more importantly than that, and this is the really exciting part, this doesn't require a hub. It's a smart lock that uses Matter over Thread, which you can connect directly to your Amazon Echo, or your Apple HomePod Mini, or your Google Home Hub. All of those work with no hub required from Aqara whatsoever.
Thank you very much. Yes.
And they have absolutely smashed it.
What? How on earth? There's no thing there.
Please verify the administrator fingerprint or password.
Oh.
But I think the thing I am most excited about is that in the near future, you'll be able to walk up to your door and geofencing will detect that you're close to it and it will automatically unlock for you, which is amazing.
Oh my god! Paul Hibbert's he's at it again! Paul Hibbert promoting products that are clearly dangerous. Anyone could take that out of your pocket and then use it to unlock your house. Who, in their right mind, would carry around something in their pockets that people could just steal and use to unlock their front door? It's absolutely ridiculous.
Thanks to Aqara for sponsoring today's video and for sending me their U200 retrofit smart door lock. Just like the Switchbot Lock Pro, it has a keypad with a fingerprint scanner for you to attach to the outer door, which also has an NFC reader for keycards, PIN code access, and of course, the ability to lock and unlock the door using the Aqara app, which by default is dreadfully musical.
What's happening? I don't know what's happening.
It took me less than 5 minutes to install. It has Matter support via Thread, which means it will work with Amazon Alexa, Google Home, and not only Apple HomeKit, but also has HomeKey support, which means that you could lock and unlock your door using your iPhone and your Apple Watch, even if the batteries are dead. Which is more of a surprise than that time that Vader let Leia go because he really did think she was on a diplomatic mission to Alderaan.
I'm a member of the Imperial Senate on a diplomatic mission to Alderaan.
No, you're part of the Rebel Alliance and Oh, you're not. I'm so we keep making this mistake. Can you guys just give her a hand getting back to his ship, please? I am so sorry.
Both devices have auto lock and support for latch systems. Both devices can be powered by either normal AA or AAA batteries, or a separately purchasable rechargeable hot swappable battery. Both devices allow you to use your traditional house key to lock and unlock the door, which will please the missus. And both devices have the option for temporary passcodes to give to cleaners or if you're running an Airbnb. So why buy this instead of the Switchbot Lock Pro? Well, you might not want to. We're going to talk all about the differences between both of these devices throughout this video because they both have distinct advantages and disadvantages. I'm going to tell you all about them. Stay tuned. First and foremost, it's an Aqara lock. I have been waiting for one for forever because I am a massive Aqara fan and almost all of my ecosystem is Aqara. If you're in the same boat, that's a pretty obvious reason. But more importantly, probably to most people, is the simple fact that it is way faster than the Switchbot Lock Pro to lock and unlock. I had no idea how much of a big deal this actually was to me until I'd lived with the Switchbot Lock Pro for a little while and then seen the difference with this lock. The amount of times that I've brought people round to this place to show it to them and they've sat waiting for my Switchbot lock to unlock the door, every single time they've asked, Why don't you open the door? And I'm there going, I'm just waiting for my lock to... That's more embarrassing than that time I got caught short in my Iron Man suit. John, sorry mate, according to YouTube, you're not subscribed at the moment? Any particular reason? It's freaked out all the Johns. So, if you want to subscribe and give this thing a dinging of the bell and a thumbs up, honestly, it would mean the world to me. It keeps me doing what I'm doing. On with the show. It's also built like a brick house. The Switchbot Lock Pro is too, but because the Switchbot Lock Pro is so much deeper, it kind of like wobbles around a little bit when you're manually turning it, and you will find yourself manually turning it because it takes so long to unlock it by pressing the button. The button's a really nice thought, and I love that, but I found myself always manually unlocking it because it was quicker. It kind of wiggles around a lot because of its depth. Another reason you might want to buy the U200 is because currently the Switchbot Lock Pro only comes in one colour. I think they are changing that, and maybe even by the time this video is released, to be fair to them. But currently the Aqara U200 has it in white, silver, a dark grey, and some kind of wood effect panel. The U200 just feels like a more premium product as a consequence of all of these things, but I think probably the most standout thing, and this sounds ridiculous, is just how quick it reacts when you actually put your thumbprint on. Again, there's kind of a delay when you use the Switchbot Lock Pro. You put your thumb on it, and it's at least a second and a half later that it starts to whir its motor, and then it is slower. This thing is unlocked far faster because it reacts immediately and it spins quicker. There's also no need to install a magnet on the door to allow this thing to know that the door is closed or opened. The Switchbot Lock Pro has a magnet on the door so that it knows that when it's closed, it needs to lock the door automatically, and knows that when it's opened to warn you you've left the door open. You can do all of those things with the Aqara U200, but you don't actually need the magnet because this thing uses a gyroscope instead. I do note at time of filming that I have to give the door a damn good banging to let it know that it's actually been closed.
No! Hello! Yes, YouTube, please! This week he's giving things a damn good banging! Well, yes, he was talking about a door. Listen here, you! My hamster died of shock! Disgusting!
Aqara have also implemented this sort of slow, silent, or even quiet mode. You can decide how fast the thing turns, and even schedule this for different times so that you don't wake people up at night with it going wee. It just kind of, that's a terrible impression. It just kind of slowly ticks around instead. This is like ingenious. This is such a well thought out idea for people that live in a house where the door is quite close to a bedroom.
So this is the speed and the volume it will now unlock at. So let's give you an indication how quiet that is. I'm talking very, very quietly. So it's not entirely silent. Obviously, it's having to lock a mechanism in a door, but you know, that's pretty quiet.
And finally, geofencing. Both companies are now in a race. They're both saying that sometime by the end of the year, they will have the ability to auto-unlock this door by geofencing. Aqara do, in the meantime, have the ability to do it within a 100-meter radius. This is probably not a good idea for unlocking your door because if you drive past your house, your door will unlock. But it does mean that you can set it to lock when you leave the area. So if you leave your house and you go out, it'll automatically lock your door, and that's a really cool idea. In future, they'll have full-on geofencing right up to the door, so you can actually have it unlock as you approach the front of your house. Before we go over the negatives of this lock and the areas in which the Switchbot Lock Pro shines over and above this, let me just talk to you quickly about the setup process. It's ridiculously easy. It took less than 5 minutes to actually install the thing physically on the door. It does no damage to the door, so if you're renting, this thing actually clamps onto the frame of the keyhole, so there's no damage to anything. And the software setup aspect of this is another one of those kind of like scan a QR code and it automatically adds everything for you.
He's looking older, isn't he, since he had a kid?
That's maybe a coincidence, but so are you. And now for the elephant in the room. There really aren't any. So the Aqara M3 hub is required if, and only if, you intend to use this thing as like an Airbnb. And that's because you'll need the Aqara M3 hub to communicate with the lock when you are away from the premises, if you're abroad or if you live somewhere else. Aside from that, this lock really does work directly with Apple HomeKit, and it really does work directly with Amazon Alexa and all of those good things. You just can't do the more intrinsic stuff like generate temporary passcodes, for example. That's the only reason you should need the Aqara M3 hub, and I guess that's worth bearing in mind if you intended to use it for those purposes. If I'm nitpicking, I prefer the Switchbot Lock Pro push button to make it do its kind of manual opening. This thing, you can like do a quick flick of the wrist and it will start spinning for you, but it takes a moment or two, and sometimes I'm kind of like, has it done it? I would prefer a push button, but I mean, come on, it's so much faster than the Switchbot Lock Pro. It's not really a solid complaint. Battery life. The Switchbot Lock Pro is advertised at 9 months, 12 months if you use their hot swappable battery. The Aqara is listed at least 6 months. That doesn't bother me personally. I will take this over the Switchbot Lock Pro simply because of its shallower depth, its sturdier feel, and most importantly, and I can't stress this enough, just how much faster it locks and unlocks the door. Switchbot have this really cool feature where you can set up a second fingerprint for your wife. So you've got one fingerprint on her thumb, one fingerprint on this finger, and you tell your wife, if you are being accosted and forced into the house, use this finger instead of your thumb, and I'll get a notification to my phone to say that you're being coerced. I think this is the most genius thing I have ever seen, and currently is missing from the Aqara U200. Aqara, I'm assuming you're watching this video, so I'd like to recommend that as a future thing, and again, if you're watching this video as a potential customer, I shall let you know in the description what Aqara have said to that. I'm assuming they'll want to implement something similar because it is genuinely brilliant. The magnet the Switchbot Lock Pro has is currently, at time of filming, more effective. It knows when the door is closed and it locks every single time. As I said earlier on, the gyroscope doesn't always recognize I've shut the door, and sometimes I've actually opened the door and it's gone, oh, I'm closed now, and then starts locking, which is obviously pretty dumb. This is rectified very quickly, of course, because of the speed of the lock, but again, it's worth noting, at time of filming, it doesn't work 100% of the time. It's early days. I have to reiterate that. This is technically beta testing phase. Switchbot also has the ability to notify you if the door has been left open. Currently, again, at time of filming, this might change. In fact, I think it will change. The Aqara lock can't notify you if the door has been left open. It can only notify you if you haven't locked the door or if the door has jammed. If you want a notification if the door has been left open, currently you can't do it. Check the description for all of these things. I should probably say that. If these things have changed, I'm going to update the description to say these things have changed. Can you tell that I'm recording most of this on the fly? Yes, that joke is back. And now the massively difficult question, which would I personally buy? I have been sponsored by both of these companies in the past, and I will be sponsored by both of these companies again, so don't think this is just because this is an Aqara video. I would personally buy the Aqara. Here's why. The Aqara doesn't require a hub, and because it is thread over matter, I can connect it directly to either Apple HomeKit or Amazon Alexa or Home Assistant without the requirement for the hub, and more importantly, the lock is much faster. This is a huge deal to me. It might not matter to you. If you have a porch, you might prefer to get the Switchbot Lock Pro because it's slightly cheaper, and for its slightly cheaper price tag, it comes with its own Switchbot mini hub, and that little hub has its own set of advantages. However, if you prefer the Aqara ecosystem and you don't want an additional hub, you're going to want to spend the extra 10 quid to get the faster lock. All that said, there is a discount in the description below, and you'll probably get this thing for cheaper anyway. In the meantime, if you've enjoyed this video, it's thanks to these incredible people. They're my patrons from Patreon, and without them, I'd still be working in a call center. I know I say that every week, but I mean it more and more every week because I love doing what I do. If you want to be one of these incredible people, you can do that at either Patreon or buy me a one-off beer at PayPal, and either way, I will genuinely love you forever. These are my Facebooks and my X's and my Threads and my Instagrams and my TikToks. Come and hang out there and we can be best friends. See you next time.